Anything's possible, and these two teams are pretty evenly matched. Obviously, Joshua Filler is the standout star, but Team Holland have got a really good lineup. Experience, enthusiasm, talent, skill, all wrapped into one orange package.
Yeah, Phil, I agree, and given the opportunity, I don't think you're going to see many mistakes, and we could get to 13 games in this match as well. Bijsterbosch to break off for the Netherlands. What's the throw going to do? I don't think it's going to come into an offensive play, but still not bad. Couple options. Maybe shave the 3 up towards the 5, bringing the cue ball back behind the 9 on the back rail. Keep it simple. Minimal movement on the object ball, and I think he should control the speed here. Doesn't want the 3 to get up by the side for a jump shot, though. Okay, he's going to love this, I think. Maybe left the edge of the 3, but nothing easy.
Doppelkiss liegt, glaube ich. Ich weiß nicht, ob man den Doppelkiss spielen kann, sonst die 3 halt da liegen bleibt und die Weiße nach oben. Ansonsten kann man halt den Kick spielen, aber ist auch. Warte mal mit Rosenthal.
You know, one thing I don't know if these teams have noticed, they have been in the arena a little bit earlier, but I think there's a little moisture in the table. I think the rails are starting to bounce a little bit more. We saw it on the lag, a little heavy from both teams. He's going to kick at this, so no future clipping the 3. And if you're at home, you wonder why such a soft kick, but percentages said that not only keeping the accuracy on the kick, but with the 5 near, some good things could have happened. It just didn't work out for Germany, and now the Netherlands to the table with an offensive opportunity. And I personally think Bijsterbosch looked a little more comfortable in their opening match. A big favorite, as Niels said in the interview over Morocco.
I think the best compliment you can give Marc Bijsterbosch is that while he's considered number 2 in this team, he'd be number 1 for so many teams here. He's a terrific player.
Yeah, and he's, oh, that one really took off. And a little out of line here on the 8. He's got to roll this in, and we've seen some of these coming off the end rail missed, even though it looks like such a makeable shot. And sometimes you kind of go unnoticed when you're a humble guy. Doesn't really, you know, express himself as much as some others. Uh-oh. Interested to see how he cues this. Watch out for the scratch.
And also watch out for the miss. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, and that's the scratch I was talking about. I thought he may go with a high ball right there, but
start the clock, please.
Not what you want with Germany behind you.
Great start for Germany. Great call from Jeremy Jones. You would not expect anything less. In the end, winning that rack was the easiest assignment imaginable, just knocking in that 9-ball, even the most raw novice could have tossed. So Marc Bijsterbosch was the culprit there, missing the 9 and scratching to boot. It means, Jeremy, that the man with the very fine break, the very powerful break, has given the break to Germany.
Yeah, and you know, one thing about when you're facing filler in singles matches, and we'll see here, player 1 for the Netherlands, Niels Feijen, a known name in the world of pool for some 20 years. Player number 2, Marc Bijsterbosch. They had a win in round 1 and the finalists in 2013 and 14, even though they've never really held the trophy up. They've run deep and they want to do it again. But what I was getting at, when you face filler in singles, you really got to open up early and just let him know you're in the match. He can kind of forget about his opponent at times, and it's a little different in the doubles, of course, but I still think Germany's trying to put some racks together.
He's been on such a marvellous winning streak, Joshua Filler, getting to the point where he might almost have forgotten what it feels like to lose.
Break.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier, and the break is such a big part of the game. I think that side rail there, the players left are right if you're viewing. That's the place to break them from overall, in my opinion. I'll tell you how straight's the stroke with a miscue. Still pockets the ball, Phil.
Yeah, that is the acid test, isn't it?
Yeah, good thing for him. He was hitting straight low English. A miscue with a little side spin. Most certainly may have not even contacted the object ball much. Oh, big shot for Thorsten there early. That's okay. You got to know that Filler he can recover from a lot of places. He's got to force it a little bit here, though, to go through L's, and that we know how tough the side pockets have been when you have to put speed. I think he's got an option to bank this cross side, to be honest with you. They certainly don't want to play safe from this spot.
Wie du meinst. Lass ihn lang liegen, ist auch okay. 15.
Well, I'll tell you, that's as smart as anything, and the reason why is not only to win this match, but you got to know Thorsten's can bury some shots when they get a little out of line, but also to win this event.
Overran with the cue ball. It was a good pot, but ever since the miscue, they've been kicking against the wind, Germany.
Yeah, and again, that top rail with a little bit of bounce, a little more bounce than we've had. He's definitely given up a look at the 8. Has he given up a bank?
Marc.
Maybe it was the lively cushions that cost Germany position. Maybe it was the lively cushions that meant Joshua Filler overhit his safety shot. What we do know is the bank was then rifled in, and the Netherlands are back on Level terms. And that was the shot that caused all of the problems down the line. The miscue from Filler, yes, the two went in, but the backspin applied, of course, was entirely negated.
Yeah, so a couple scrappy first racks where one team made most of the balls but didn't get the win, and we're tied at 1 apiece. Niels Feijen to break in game number 3.
This is a match to determine who will play Chinese Taipei in the quarterfinal. This is Lana Bashalova making absolutely certain that the rack is as good as she can get it. On the back row, Kazakis and Economopoulos still trying to digest that horrible defeat earlier.
Netherlands to break.
The Australians are always in happy mood, so too the New Zealanders.
Yeah, and some boys from the Netherlands just flew in this morning to see this match. Of course, a lot out of the pool, but this is the one they paid money to come see. May have to go for this, just because there is some offers on the 9-ball. And you definitely don't want to roll out in any sense if you don't have to. And the 3's a little open. The center of the table fairly open, so you figured if you pocket the 2 to be okay. Thing is, if you pocket the 2, it looks like you're catching the top of the 9 a little bit. Hard not to shoot at this.
The 9 was in motion. It went in the general direction of the pocket, but
yeah, action on both the 2 and the 9. 9 coming pretty close. No coincidence or no accident that Filler will take on this long 2 ball between the 5 and 9. That right there, Phil, is what he may do as well as anyone, is he just stays so calm on the tough shots, never really overhits them.
absolutely right, Jeremy. Look at how he won the UK Open final against Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz. Some of his potting under pressure towards the end just spoke volumes for the fact he's a great champion, and he's a wonderful pressure player.
Yeah, similar to SVB in some regards. He just feels like he's going to do it better than his opponent, so he wants the balls to lay tough. And the only thing really missing for Joshua this week really is Pia filler.
Bitte okay, oder?
Bitte ist auch gut, ja? Wie du dich wohler fühlst.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Do you know the story?
I've got to believe she's competing somewhere. That's the only thing I could imagine why she's not here. You know, she carries a very fine career herself in 9-ball pool.
But he has another support system, this time in Thorsten Hohmann. And together they're doing just fine.
Thank you. Rack 4. Germany to break. Leading 2 racks to 1.
At the corresponding stage of last year's World Cup, on the way to capturing the title, Germany defeated Kuwait 7-4. They would love something similar today because the Dutch pose a real threat.
Yeah, the Dutch haven't looked as comfortable maybe, but you know they'll settle in with opportunity. Pretty easy playable safety here off the right side of the 1, running the cue ball a couple rails behind the 8.
Aber wenn halt natürlich auch eine 3 vorbeikommt, dann sonst
It's a little touchy, I guess, with the upper corner there, but
wenn du was anderes siehst, dann mach.
one that Thorsten should handle.
30 Sekunden haben wir noch.
Touch of right English. He played it that way, trying to get behind the 3. Pretty nice effort. Gonna leave an opening though. Well, maybe not. Maybe that traveled enough for the 5 to get it in the ball game. And that choice there, Phil, instead of edging and running the cue ball, makes me think a little nerves, for sure.
Extension.
Is the 5 just too far away to jump this?
Extension code.
He's looking at a thin bank on the 1. Wow, this is going to have to be hit with some speed, and the cue ball is going to go crashing into the blue 2. Could fluke something here.
So many kisses, it was hard to count. All kinds of action on the table, Jeremy.
Yeah, it kind of rearranged the furniture there a little bit, and I'm sure Niels is kind of wondering how could I overcut that crossbank. Super thin to start with.
Extension code.
This has gotten touchy. He may have to use the 4 to slow down the cue ball coming off the left side of the 1, banking the 1 down and trying to create a safety that way. We'll see. He tried to go into the 3, and the main thing he thought was, let me get the 1 down table. The only problem is now the 8 and 9 is like a gimme safety, and he should bury the cue ball here.
Da war ja nichts.
2 keuzes. 18 seconden.
Go ahead and you can bump the 9 a little bit if need be. No reason to end up short. That's exactly what's happened, I think. Didn't really apply any right spin to that shot, which was surprising. This could hop over the edge. Oh, nice hit. Ball has got to float with some spin here. Well, it looks like he's going to pinch off of it with a little low left. I was going to say, easy to hit that thick.
With below centre striking that thin contact pot, as Jeremy said, is so often missed on the thick side.
Yeah, if the timing's off a little bit, the cue ball, object ball just kind of carries with the cue ball a little bit. Kind of like a subtle little kick, you would say, or a skid. A little surprised that Josh went that route, he could have went top right and got to that right side pocket with the cue ball. Still, though, sometimes this game's about management.
Just a few moments ago, Jeremy, you were talking about the Dutch placing the Germans in trouble. A gimme snooker behind the 8 and 9. Now it's roles reversed.
Yeah, that's why at this level, you know, just separation, you have to recognize the layout of the table, because separation just isn't going to get it all the time. Oh, 9-ball.
Some people are naturally pessimistic. Others, like Jeremy, are optimistic. Didn't work that time.
Well, the 4 is covered up by the 6. Not a tough combination, but with the 5 near, you'd probably like to get some kind of position on the 4 instead of the combo, but looks like to me with Filler being the one shooting the combo, let's keep it simple. Just come 1 row up for the 4-6 in the upper right.
Ich glaube, ich würde den stellen.
Lang oder Ecke?
Ich würde versuchen, halt, wenn dann die 6 oder hier durch.
Wow, he's directing him to play position instead of the combo.
Ja, genau so.
It's going to work. I tell you, Thorsten looks very comfortable to me, and even though it's been a bit of a scrappy opener for these two teams, I kind of feel like someone may run off and hide, and it could be the team at the table here.
No weakness. Multiple world championships on their joint CV.
Schön, sehr schön.
And again, right there, you can see a very lively side rail, so the table's going to get tougher and tougher as the day goes.
Joshua Filler doesn't miss that kind of 9-ball. It is 3-1. The defending champions have made for them an agreeable start. Netherlands find themselves playing catch-up. Feijen made the mistake, undercut the 1-ball. It didn't cost them directly the rack because they had to play a safety after this. Nevertheless, they tidied up nicely. So it's Joshua player 1, Thorsten Hohmann player 2. What a side. In the very first match of the competition, they breezed by New Zealand 7-1. As we've mentioned, aiming to become the first country since this event began in 2006 to defend the title. And what a week it's been for Thorsten Hohmann already, because it was announced earlier this week that Fulda, his hometown in Germany, will host the new European Open, which will take place from August the 9th to the 14th.
Round 5. Germany to break, leading 3 racks to 1.
And I tell you, Josh knows Thorsten, of course, very well, and recognizes, I think, probably Thorsten's feeling pretty good today and more comfortable, which I think in turn is going to make Joshua even more himself. Okay, probably takes this jump shot on. One caught the point. Just Kind of cut the one a little more than he probably wanted.
Klar kann ich reinjumpen, aber wohin mit der Weißen?
30. Ja. Wenn dir nichts einfällt, jumpen rein und dann gucken wir weiter. Oder?
Jetzt hätte ich halt
2 voran, ne?
ja, auf der linken Seite treffen, dass ich weiß, hier bleibt. Hätte ich sonst probiert. Weil die 8 Weiße kann ja nicht fallen wegen der 8.
Ja.
Aber beim Jump da.
10 Sekunden.
Ja.
8 Sekunden.
So it looks like a 2-rail kick here.
4.
Oh, sweet hit.
Good.
See?
Almost demoralising for the Dutch. It took them a while to make the decision, but as soon as it was made, the fella got down and played it quickly, decisively, on the nose.
All about touch here for Niels, going behind the 4-5 with the cue ball, you would think. A lot of speed there. He may need a bump, and he got it.
Geht halt die Weiße Richtung Ecklocken, ne?
Ja, aber. Jetzt schon. 10 Sekunden, also 11, 12.
You can see this a duck combination. Just got to elevate the cue a little bit. Little soft draw here. The 2's very playable, so position on the 1 should be easy and very, very manageable to get on the 2. With a very open middle of the table, I think just kind of make this ball and leave the thin cut on the 3. Easy to track the cue ball up and down for the 4.
13.
Extension.
Extension code.
You want to add a little inside English here. That does improve position for an easier shot on the 3, but makes the 2 a little more missable. Looks like he might be coming across for short side on the 3. Watch out, corner. Watch out. And these deep shells may have gotten him corner hooked here. And again, you really just have to evaluate how tough is the cut on the 3 if I just simply knock this in and stay somewhat on the left side of the table.
Voor mij heel zacht met zij schieten. Dan moet je ze 10 seconden.
That was a pretty nice shot there just to keep them in the ball game. They're going to be snookered most likely, but at least they will live to fight and shoot another shot.
Yeah, being corner hooked there was frustrating, but infinitely preferable to
15.
the scratch.
3 wieder runter, weil die 3 dahinter, die Weiße kriegt, glaube ich, nicht.
Extension
Die
code.
Weiße kriegt, glaube ich, nicht genug Schub, oder? Aber ich würde lieber die 3 spielen, dann haben wir. Sind sie?
Die Weiße runter nicht gut.
Ja, wegen der 3, ich weiß nicht, wohin mit der 3.
Okay. 20 Sekunden.
Das ist nicht gut. 20.
He's a little worried about the 3, how far down it's going to get. Oh, so he played it the other way, and there's some gaps here. I don't understand that play versus just, I think they overthought that one.
Pass row. Forehand.
You're always going to leave a rail first behind the 5. And
Start the top place.
talk about it all the time. You know, there's one thing to get the devastating snooker, but there's always risk with that, right? These shorter races, you want to guarantee getting the snooker, period, and a rare mental error, in my opinion.
You know, Jeremy called this earlier on. We're seeing a lot of shots that rely on the cue ball making contact with the cushions. A lot of positional efforts, a little overcooked. Ideal position. Restored, though.
Yeah, this is sweet. Just a little draw stroke. Doesn't need much.
He missed a shot like this in the first rack against Morocco from a greater distance, but similar kind of shot, Feijen, but on that occasion, no issue whatsoever. Bijsterbosch spots the 9. The Dutch now within striking distance. In fact, just one rack adrift. Germany's lead eroded to 3-2.
Let's go. Dan gaan we door, man.
Marc Bijsterbosch saying, let's go. And quite rightly so. They've got the break now in rack 6, and this is the shot that allowed them in.
Yeah, the scratch, of course, the ultimate sin, but I always thought that was going to leave a pretty decent play for the Netherlands and gets them back on the board. And even though trailing a game, you got to figure somebody's going to start breaking and putting some racks together, and why not them?
It's extremely warm outside, indeed in the arena as well, but the crowd are loving this. 2 superb matches already, and you just got the feeling this one was almost guaranteed to be a cracker as well. Yeah, you do need some improvised fans, don't you?
Rack 6.
Well, it's pretty busy in here as of now, and of course, why not with this match? But I think it's going to get even more crowded on a Friday night for Great Britain B later on. Okay, the one's going to get... Ooh, this looks very playable to me, and I don't think this will be something that Niels passes up on. We'll see how it lays here in a moment, but it looks like to me he can even bank the 1 back down table while trying to play the kiss shot on the 9. Oh yeah, this lays sweet. He's got to thin it a bit, maybe a hair left English, but definitely playable. So maybe the 1 goes behind the 5-8. Key to this shot is don't overhit it. If you overhit it, the 9's going to hit the bottom rail. And he was so concerned with the safety, I don't blame him. I'll tell you, I would look at the kiss shot on the 6 here with a high ball. I think the 6 is a playable shot. He's going to play the safety, maybe go at the 9. And tactically, the Germans have made a few mistakes. Got to add some right English here and probably go into the 6 with the cue ball. Or is he just going to ease it? Oh, he got by the 6. He probably never expected that.
Extension.
Extension code.
All right, he may need the 8 or the 5 to slow the cue ball down. We'll see. Oh, he hit that nice. Best shot of the match for Niels so far. He made that look easy.
Feijen and Bijsterbosch just about to take the lead in ball spotted. And they're giving the title holders something to think about. Ineffective safeties from We return with a visual tale of two emotions. The Greeks trying to smile, but it's forced. They're out. But Team USA, they're on a day off.
Thank you.
Their
Rack
place
7.
in the quarterfinals tomorrow is guaranteed.
3 racks each.
Niels Feijen would love to have seen the one ball just stop on the lip of the pocket there.
Die 7 ligt ook in.
Yeah, so many range of emotions on the break shot. First the cue ball, high stressed after the kick. Got a playable 3-ball here, though. It's not as easy as the 1 would have been, but something that Marc should bury here, I think, if he plays it.
Een overrond of intrekken.
Does the 4 go by the 6 in the side? Because the cue ball is going to have some speed. Yeah, it does. And maybe cut it and come 2 rails right at the 5 with the cue ball. It's kind of what I see. Oh, he spun it, so he's going to get into the pink 4, and what a shot from Marc Bijsterbosch. Just something you don't see in snooker near as much. The big balls, you can use the spin to really throw the ball backwards and kind of manipulate things a bit. You know, I think the 7's a little past the point, or else they may want to play the 6 off the 7 to open the 7 up a bit. Yeah, you see that's a good view, and I think it still goes off the 7, but you got to hit it with more speed, so they may stay away from that. Now the one thing they could do is set up an angle on the 6 to go past the 7 and play it all the way down. I think that's proper. Yeah, I think that's definitely the shot. So when he goes by the 7, he'll want about a 1-inch to 2-inch bounce off the side rail. Don't want to be straight. It makes the 8 more difficult later. Didn't get much off of there.
Yeah.
Bijsterbosch had manoeuvrability. The Dutch a couple of pots away from taking the lead. At this level, it doesn't take a lot, does it? Just a couple of iffy safeties from Joshua Filler in racks 5 and 6, and now the 7th goes to the Dutch as well. Germany led 3-1. Currently they trail 4-3. He's got lots of fans, Joshua Filler. That one, well, it's pretty essential today. The heat here, can't overstate it. Just looked at my phone, and apparently the local temperature here in Brentwood is 34 degrees C. That's into the 90s Fahrenheit. That's Texas weather, Jeremy.
Yeah, if you're outside, it's not so bad, it seems like, but when you're indoors, it can get warm quick, and of course the pressure. And one thing I've always commended Joshua on his safeties, as far as I think he gets a little overlooked at times, but it is also honestly one of the little chinks in the armor that's not a very big chink in the armor, but it is the way you get to him at times, and it's the way that you make him feel the battle a little more rather than him just running racks. So now the Netherlands in a good spot. Winner break at the table up 4-3.
Fille's run lately. He won the Lascaux Open on the Euro Tour, went straight to the Whirlpool Masters, won that.
Rock 8.
And he
Netherlands
regrouped,
break.
went to the UK
Leading
Open,
4 rocks to 3.
won that. He's not used to losing. He hates the thought of it.
Not very used to trailing, I feel. Which goes along with that, not used to losing, but he's a great starter in matches, obviously a great finisher, and usually gets stronger as the events go.
Ja, ik ga hem gewoon op en neer. Wit achter de 4. Ja.
In a team environment, you can always rely on Niels Feijen. 4 times Mosconi Cup MVP. 4 times in a span of 5 years between 2011 and 2015. He thrives in this kind of arena.
Yeah, Niels, who didn't take a layoff really, but had a few struggles for a couple years, dealt with a couple injuries at times in his career, but he's a fighter and a battler, and he works very hard at his game and definitely getting back in form. And it's good to see there's those few players, Mika Immonen, in the same boat. Needs this to rest on the rail. It's not going to, so it's not a duck by any means, but another opportunity for the men in orange.
Kan je wel of voorbij het midden? Kan je wel. Tijd is 15. Extension.
Code.
The safety errors tell their own story.
Yeah, and the problem with this shot is that it's not only difficult, but he's got to dig on the ball. He's got to get past the side, and then there's the pink 4 to worry about. Oh, clean strike there. Didn't overhit it, not one bit. And that's when you know you're getting comfortable, when you kind of slow draw the ball into position. Never going to have a problem. Easy to keep the body still.
Well done from Feijen. He turned 45 in February, but already this year he's won the European Nineball Championship. I think the increased schedule made possible by Matchroom Multisports has given him and so other veterans, Jeremy, the incentive to try and come back into the limelight.
Yeah, well, absolutely, career-wise. And I'll tell you what, also, whether these guys are conscious of it or not, what really motivates them and makes me kind of jealous, to be honest with you, is just all the competition. And if you're winning titles today, you just know you had to go through just incredible field, one after another.
Yeah, I mentioned that win in the European Nineball Championship. Also in that European Festival, he was third in the 10-ball and the straight pool. Got to the last 16 of the UK Open, the last time we saw him at a Matchroom event. And he's starting to look like his old self.
Yeah, and usually the case, which sets up well for Niels, is as you get a little older, if you want to keep up, you got to work a little harder, and he doesn't mind that one bit.
On paper, Germany are heavyweights, Filler and Hohmann. But although they're not quite on the ropes yet, they're certainly a little groggy. And that's because the Netherlands now lead 5-3.
Schieten die bal. Nee, ik bedoel die 2 van
The quarterfinal slots are being filled.
And watch out for Team Finland.
Rack 9.
Put together a lot of positive things, of course, with a huge win. All right, the one's going to come near the cue ball. It's going to open up for a bank shot. The two kind of got a little far down table to probably play the bank, and then maybe the 6 is in the way anyways.
Kan je flinter doen? Als je hem flinter doet.
I'll tell you what, though, I would just nick this ball and go right at the 7 with the cue ball.
Gewoon heel dun, 8 en die 9-7 gebruiken. Ik zie verder niet echt veel. Of hier, maar dan laat hij een jump liggen als je hem dikker raakt. Snap je?
Gaat hij flinter doen?
Yeah, maybe not.
30 zo.
This is touchy, actually. May have to get past the 7 to really be effective with the safety. Otherwise, if he brings the 1 up, watch out for the jump. He has an edge of this, that being filler. He's going to try and cut it in. Otherwise, they'll kick with a draw stroke, trying to bring the cue ball back near the 7.
Ich könnte halt versuchen, Vorbänder.
10.
10 irgendwie rüber. Aber die 1 hat auch Gas, das ist das Problem. Kann er wieder runterkommen.
Extension.
Extension code.
Ansonsten haben wir nichts.
Das sind 10, ne?
Ja.
20.
Initially, Jeremy, he wasn't happy.
Ik moet hem buigen en dan
Yeah,
zo.
he thought the 1 was coming down to dress up for an easy shot. Caught the 8, got the full snooker, but not too tough of a kick here for the Netherlands, I think. Of course, the hit, I think, is very routine.
Extension.
Extension code.
Maybe not. He's looking at the bottom rail now. I thought he could get by the 9 with a bunch of right and get into the back of the 1, but
Doe het terug.
I'd force that way, even if I had to swerve the ball a bit. Yeah, give it time to take. That's the key. Yeah, he's going to love it. He may leave a shot, but he's still going to love it.
Let's jump with that.
The overhead tells us that cue ball stopped directly in behind the 9.
We haven't seen much of Thorsten in some time. What a shot.
What a reintroduction.
Yeah, and have you ever seen a jump shot hit more smoothly than that? Couldn't have hit it cleaner if he could see the ball, really.
It has to be remembered that Filler, when he won the World Masters, and indeed when he won the UK Open, was trailing relatively late on in both of those finals, and then he discovered the magic. With the help of Hohmann, will that be the case here?
Yeah, I was wondering about this angle. Kind of end up short of the mark with the 8 in there. May be able to hard to draw back short side on the 7. We'll see.
Super.
Yeah, it's just so good. Wasn't anything natural about that 6. He manufactured that cue ball movement.
Germany wins the rock.
Well, the Dutch might have jumped into the lead, but the Germans there jumped back into serious contention. What
Rack 10. Germany to break, trailing 5 racks to 4.
In this session at the World Cup of Pool, we've had not 1, not 2, but 3 absorbing matches. And of the 3, this could have the most compelling storyline. Are the defending champions teetering on the brink, or will they pull off a recovery?
Well, Thorsten has looked very good in this match, in my opinion. Tough little shot on the 1. He's got to work the cue ball, and there's not a ton of angles, so he may play this to the upper right, actually. And the reason being is that just there's a little bit more of an open pocket. You can use a touch of the right side rail to slide the ball in. And it doesn't have to be struck as hard.
Wow, shot. Sehr gut.
Former US Open champion Jeremy Jones. Pick yourself for that Mosconi Cup, Jeremy. That's my advice. Pick yourself.
Well, I'll leave that one to Phil, but tell you a guy that's not leaving it alone is the guy at the table here. He's come with some huge shots in this match. And probably that jump shot in the last rack really saved it, you might say. And right there, I can see it again. The rail's getting a little bit of spring in them. Just kind of two-stroked it. Just didn't really, you know, take dead aim, as you would say. And I'm not sure where that came from, Phil.
That could be the beginning of the end. That kind of mistake is hard to shake off. The Dutch can't believe their luck. Who would have thought that Thorsten Hohmann, 2 World Nineball Championship titles under his belt, would miss that 8? It seemed as though Germany had regained their mojo, but then the 8 ball went astray. He's feeling terrible. And Joshua Fuller's golden run might well be about to be tarnished. 6-4 to Holland, and they break in the 11th rack. What a turn of events, Jeremy.
Yeah, very much so, and that doesn't really show it, but got down on the ball kind of fast, and just like I said, just kind of, didn't see him miss it on the cue ball. Rarely do the pros miss on the aim. It's usually the stroke that causes the misses, and what a big one at a big moment. And kind of feel like you might not see Team Germany back to the table. Bijsterbosch, who's broke the balls very well, like he always does, and kind of feel like they'll get a chance to end it. Yeah,
I think it's definitely that vibe, isn't it? Because when you make a gross error like that, the pool gods tend to doubly punish. Let's see.
Well, weren't we mistaken? Maybe has a sliver. No, he's completely snookered, and it's not a tough kick shot, though. I'm kind of sitting right down the line. He may have to just put a touch of right English. And the key to this one, so you keep the control, is don't worry about getting the one all the way to the back rail. It looks like it sits just to get it maybe to the head string, something like that. I think if you get it, try to get it all the way to the back rail, the cue ball may come loose. He's got plenty of room to go by the 2 to kick behind the 1. And again, don't worry about getting the 1 all the way down. And he caught the 4. Still going to be okay.
Prima bal. Met de 4, maar dit was goed.
Komt er weer.
Banken oder?
20 Sekunden. Entweder Banker oder versuchen die auf der linken Seite ein bisschen zu treffen, dass die 1 vielleicht hier runtergeht und die Weiße oben bleibt. So mehr als safe. Aber wenn du, oder gehst auf die 4 oder so.
Extension code.
Do you go for the jump bank? I guess you could send it at the 4. You could try to bank it straight back down table. I like him going for it myself. He was trying to bank it straight back down, and the thing there is it's very hard to control any speed. They may end up okay, but a bit of fortune.
Gaan ze links?
Lekker achter de 4 pompen. Ja.
Now with the 3 there, can he kind of get the cue ball behind the 4? That's the target. Oh, beauty. I love that.
Horrible hook, this.
2 kan, 2 kan.
I'll tell you what, though, if Joshua can get the hit here, he's got action on some stuff. 6 near the pocket. A lot of other balls to maybe get a snooker. So Bijsterbosch is going to have a pretty cupcake 1 ball.
Ik kan hem voortrekken, Marc. Kijk, jij zegt, die 2 wat. Ik kan hem voorlangs trekken. Vind je die 2 wat? Is die onder die bij de korte band komt?
Ja.
Can he keep it simple here and just float this in and go right into the 9 fully? That would be okay. Is he a little too thin to draw the ball? No, he's going to draw it. So
Extension code.
Taking the 30-second extension to get their ducks in a line, their thoughts in order.
And this has got a bit of a cut to it on the 6, so he's going to have to work the ball a little bit.
Langs die 8. Huh? Langs die 8 als het kan.
Oh, the 2 goes. I didn't realize that, Phil.
Jeremy, the crown is slipping.
Yeah, no one's ever successfully won this event twice, or twice in a row, excuse me, and there's good reason why. It's just difficult to do with so many great teams. Got to have a little lady luck on your side.
Nee, moet je hem hebben? Misschien niet.
Well, is that going to get past the 5? It could get on the 50-yard line. I think that's exactly where it's gotten. Surprised he went past position there. Could have laid up on the right side rail for the 5 in the lower left. Most would have.
Those Dutch supporters can be heard now. They've travelled across the North Sea to see their man. And I'll tell you what, they're now just 3 balls away from beating the defending champions.
Well, he simplified that quite a bit. I thought he'd work the ball a little bit more closer to the 8, but
depending on his partner, and something that hadn't happened much lately. Joshua Filler maybe exiting an event early.
He told me earlier this year in Gibraltar he despises losing. He will despise this. And that's because Deutschland have been defeated. Instead, it's the Dutch who go through. Niels Feijen and Marc Bijsterbosch are over the moon, kissed with success, in fact. Yes, everyone will remember Thorsten Hohmann's missed 8-ball in what turned out to be the penultimate rack. But it was also about the tactical superiority of the Dutch. They were better when it came to safety. No ifs, buts, or maybes. And remember, the Germans made a very good start. They led 3-1, then they made a couple of safety errors, and everything turned around. And in the end, it was a fine safety that gave the Dutch the chance they wanted. The hook in behind the 4-ball, laid by Marc Bijsterbosch. Joshua Filler made contact with the escape, but the chance was left, and the Dutch capitalised. They're into the quarter-finals, where they will take on Chinese Taipei. No team in the history of this World Cup of Pool has ever retained the title, and Germany will not be the first, at least not this year. Hohmann and Filler are out. Here's the tail of the tape. Pod success for both teams, a little lower than you might anticipate. It was really good stuff, though. Lots and lots of action, lots and lots of manoeuvrability when it came to the momentum. In the end, it was the Dutch who got over the line, and they must be absolutely overjoyed with the result.
Thanks very much, Phil. Yeah, that completes this afternoon's action. 3 fantastic matches. They were so tight as well, weren't they? Here are the results if you missed the earlier matches. Chinese Taipei winning a dramatic thrill against Greece, 7 racks to 6. Singapore beating Kuwait by the same score. And Netherlands, well, as you've just seen, shocking the number 1 seeds, Germany, 7 racks to 4. Right, here's our next session. Estonia kick it off, excuse me, in 14 seeds against Finland.